everyone, my name is Umu.
I'm Kevin.
I play the French horn.
I play piano.
And I run this channel and I do editing and stuff. So we promised, we promised Donghyun that we would do an album first listen as well as a reaction to Trigger. So here we are. Just some background information for you. If you remember in Getaway, which was last time you watched it was a few months ago, the storyline wise, there's like evil very very and then there's not evil very very, and evil very very invited very very to dinner and they got drugged or something.
Was a lot.
And so I believe this music video continues that, and the evil very very is still like trying to kill everyone.
Okay.
So there's gonna be some action, I believe.
Well, you know, those getaway drivers have to pull the trigger at some point. So getaway refers to like a getaway driver, which is somebody who drives for criminals and stuff.
That's a thing, like Baby Driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there is a theme of like crime stuff. Evil stuff.
Whoa, okay, well, shall we?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, trigger! Oh.
Am I really connected?
Oh?
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything?
Nope.
Oh no! Starting from the beginning, 3, 2, trigger!
Yay!
Okay, so storyline-wise, we're starting off from Getaway. Whoa!
The stairs are the falling. Eclipse?
Eclipse! Ooh.
What the?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not what I expected from the teaser. Oh, we need to stop this again. It's like the filtered sound with zero bass. That's so I don't know what the song actually sounds like.
Technical difficulties!
But I know.
Hello?
Hey, are you home? Could you do me a small favor? Can you go into my closet, pull out the side bag, and see if there's a cord in it? There's one that's like a hook, a right angle hook, and there's one that's straight.
Yes, that's it.
Ah! Should we start over again?
Yes.
Fourth time! Is this our fourth time? Fourth time! For you, Trigger! 3, 2, 1!
Fourth Time Around by Bob Dylan. I can hear him breathing now, like for real. Oh, yeah, that was nothing, the bass.
Now, is the ball bad or good, or is it a messenger?
Okay.
It's a crazy intro.
Yeah? Chromatic? Oh good, they had chords below it. That's what I was waiting for. Major. Whoa.
I have a feeling they'll do it twice as long pre-chorus next time. It was really short.
We go back. Nice.
Oh yeah. That second verse was such a nice contrast from the chorus.
I wish they kept the bell tones a bit more, because the rapping sounded really good for that little moment that they collided.
Oh, major sprinkled in.
Whoa! Nice, new section, new pre-chorus, extension. Ooh, nice. Daft Punky transition.
Yeah.
Whole thing is a little Daft Punky.
Oh, Daft Punky?
Yep.
I can see that. I feel like there's a lot of stretching out and hitting rhythmically, and with the synth sounds just like drawing everything out.
The mediant relative major. Pedal fourths, fifths, fifths.
Damn!
Whoa! Is that G sharp?
I love how they've come up with a different move for every single time they repeat trigger. Oh, yeah, baby! Whew. What?
What? Is that really how it? No. Really? Or is that the video?
No, I'm pretty sure. Here.
That's insane. What? That's crazy. It's like
That was so fun!
Didn't pull the trigger at the end, but that's what makes it good.
They pulled the tarp from under the person, and the person with the gun just like flew backward. It's just like that kind of ending. It feels like something's pulled out from under you, and you're like,
Yeah.
you stumble, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
what just happened? Yeah, I love how this song developed, because you can tell that at the beginning they're just giving you little tastes of what they're to later develop upon. And so like when that first pre-chorus happened, I was like, this is way too short. Of course they're gonna, you know, add more to it the second time around. And they went halftime, which I did not see coming. I thought they were just gonna like continue the section as is, even longer second time. And then last chorus, Very Very's last few songs, I think the songwriters do such a good job of having the climax happen in the last bit and not always in the most mainstream high note final ways. Like sure, we've got like, I think it's Tonic that like up there, but then they've added some rapping back in, and they added even more riffing back in, and
And outro went for a little while, all the way
Yeah.
until the very end, where the final surprise, the
And
cutoff.
And the fact that that intro instrumental, the chromatic little hits, continued throughout the song. A lot of times, K-pop songs have a really creative beginning, and they leave it at that. They're like, we're using this to hook you in, you're not getting any more of it. But I love that it comes back as like a transition section almost.
And their first, the first time we hear their voices, they're singing in a chromatic. It's da 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 da. And at first, you know, I do the typical thing where like, I wish it would come back later, but of course the second verse sounds a little different. And I like that. I like that beginning was so different and it never came back. It makes it a bit more asymmetrical and almost a bit more artsy. And as far as my impressions of the song goes, when the chorus hit for the first time, I was super not sold on it. Yeah, I didn't really like it much, but
It's like the boy group sound. We've
Yeah,
heard
it
this
really
sound.
is.
I think is it flat 6 to 5s in scale degrees? Da da da
Yeah.
da da da.
Yeah.
Yeah. Da 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 da. That actually appears in a lot of different K-pop boy group sounds. So I could see while you're like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
but
like I
also-
know where we are right now.
yeah, also the chord progression turns into something that's pretty colorful, but I've also heard a lot, which is like a major 4 to like a major 6. There's a bit of modal mixture, but it's also something that my ears are accustomed to. But what happens is when the chorus gets put into context in the later sections, as I hear the more they transition into it, and the more types of instrumental flourishes they add to it, the more I like the chorus. And by the time the last chorus showed up, I was questioning whether I just didn't pay attention to it enough or they actually did new things. I feel like they did do instrumental changes in the choruses, but they're subtle enough that they're not like big stylistic changes. So I actually had to really focus, and it helped me like the chorus more. And even the 6/5 da 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 da, it got more energetic.
Right.
With,
I feel that too.
Within the context of the bridge and the second verse and the halftime and all that cool stuff.
The first time we were listening to it, I was so overwhelmed with all the different noises that we were hearing because I couldn't quite put a finger on what was creating them and how to describe them. 3, 2, 45. Gentle singing.
Yeah, very short verse pre-chorus.
What does that remind me of? Oh, We Go 100!
Yeah, you can tell
Yeah,
it's
we've
the
got
same
like this
producer.
little build-up, woo, woo, and as something spoken as we go into the chorus. I mean, well, this is going to the pre-chorus. Let me see.
That's the same notes.
Oh.
Da 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 da. It's a different key.
Yeah, we've got like these little sounds coming, like peekaboo sounds, right before we go into an explosion of thicker things. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
No, it's more similar than I thought. I'm mostly listening for the synth, the dun dun dun, which I did not notice until the end.
Right, we've got the long synth notes being held down, and then we've got some bass that moved a little bit.
Some syncopation,
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
And there was a lot of, what I like about this chorus is a lot of interaction between spoken and sung parts.
Yeah.
And 3, 2, 1.
Good,
and the
good
little
spot.
boop, ba-da-da-ba-ba, moves from octave up to octave down, octave up, octave down. That was a great choice. Yeah.
I feel like there's more bass.
I
They
think it's
added
the
like
same.
a few extra layers probably.
Oh, okay. Really? You feel like it's thicker this time around?
I think it's a little bit, mostly in the lower frequencies.
Right. And this course really makes you feel like you're moving forward because we've got some moments. We have like a surround sound experience, and once in a while there's going to be something like whizzing past you on the left, sometimes whizzing past you on the right, which was fun to hear. Maybe like bullets that you're avoiding. 3, 2, 1.
Oh wow, the falsetto continues through the whole section.
Yeah. Is that almost 007?
Dee, da, da. Yeah, yeah. A little bit.
That was fun. Oh my goodness. Are you
Yeah.
ready to move on to Underdog, or do you want to say
I do want to say one more thing. I feel like going through some of the sections again, I noticed that the song has very clear sense of identity. As in, it hits a lot of the marks. Like, you know, there's the strange sound that hooks you in at the beginning. There's a little bit of rapping, but it focuses on an electro-pop realm. When they do halftime in the verse, it still felt pop. It didn't feel like, oh, they suddenly do a dubstep or they suddenly do a rap, which are very easy pitfalls to sort of fall into with writing songs, K-pop songs these days. And even the outro, I like that they didn't change the style too much. They kept their identity.
And yeah, how they changed up with the outros, they kept the same instrumental that we had before, but then they just take it all out on syncopated beats, so you can feel it in an incredibly different way. And then therefore you can also change the choreography, which then changes the energy of how that ending feels.
And also, I think the melodic development in the outro is very nice. It almost, if I turn my brain off while listening to it, I feel like I wouldn't even notice it's an outro. It just segues so perfectly, and the melodic energy just continues onwards.
Right. Which is going to continue on to Underdog, which we were both super excited about. We've heard the chorus from the highlight medley. apologies for those who are wishing we would read lyrics along with this. At the time that we're watching this, the English lyrics aren't out yet, so. But we're here to enjoy the music. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underdog.
Underdog.
Don't you see it? 빈틈이 없는 내답게. I'm still
Nice.
Do.
What?
Okay, there's the groove.
Oh, nice.
Took a while for the groove to come in.
I like the massive syncopation right before.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
More chromatic.
nice.
Oh.
Woohoo!
Wow, he really pressed on that. Underdog.
So many sparkly.
Oh. Oh, it changes back. See, we never got this far.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Each section is so short in feel.
I like the
A lot of quick feel
disjointedness.
changes.
Yeah.
Color changes.
I'm not tired of the disjointedness yet.
Like this major section right there, and now we're back to minor.
Nice harmony.
Yeah, I love how the vocal line ascends and then there's this bass that just goes like bah, 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 and it just
Oh, they cut off his
Is there a little funky guitar in there?
Yeah,
What
there's
is
a little
that?
bit of funk guitar. Yeah. They're never gonna develop the octave thing. Da, 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 da. I want a whole section on it. What?
That whisper layer though.
Oh, hello, E, F flat. Oh gosh. Oh, they went. What is happening?
What just happened?
Whoa!
Go up, Gideon. Hey. Whew. Whoa!
Weird song.
What the hell
It's
was the
much
second half of
weirder
that?
than I thought.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. So did we have a direct modulation going into the verb? Into the bridge?
I think it's very complex modal mixture because it
Okay.
never resolves anywhere.
Okay. Is this tonal center? It's tonic.
Flat six
We're still
or
tonic.
regular six.
Okay.
There's the F flat. That's tone. That's so there was tonic,
Okay.
but it was
Still
like
have
an open
this.
fifths, and then afterwards the C sharp comes in,
Okay.
which is like completely weird. But because it's so out of context, we never, and it kind of just planes upwards.
That's right,
So if we
okay.
keep going, it goes C sharp minor 7, D sharp minor 7, and then E natural minor 7, which makes no sense. And then something else,
Oh,
and
we're
then they
back?
just go back.
Okay. 222. 3, 2, 1.
There it is. That one. Somehow that's smooth, and I don't know why.
5, 1.
Yeah. What?
1.
Why?
So
Why
we
is that smooth?
just plane up, then we have a dominant, which makes us lean towards what we feel is like our home key.
Yeah, but the dominant is actually
Is it weird?
that of the half step up. It's like
So that's why it feels so weird
yeah. So we're
going
in B
back into the
flat.
chorus.
Or are we? Oh no, my
Right?
perfect pitch has been no.
Okay.
It's definitely the song is definitely in B flat.
Okay.
But that dominant was is
Of B.
launching to B, yeah.
Why?
But let's keep going because I want to hear how they go back. Which
I think it's just direct. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just direct.
Yep.
B flat.
And then they show us, oh, that's actually really genius. Yeah, so what happens is they do the dominant of B, which is also the G flat, which we hear a lot of the song. It's a love meets da 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 da. Yeah, you know that open feeling. That's one of the more typical chords in the song, in the other sections. But what happens is, you know, we have this sudden reintroduction of the original key, and then the bass just leans on like the Dorian six instead of the normal six. So it's like da da. You know how it's like the edgy da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da, because we wanted to go down to that semi-dominant, semi-six weird chord, but it doesn't.
That was awesome.
There's a lot of intention behind it. It's for such a disjointed sounding song, because even the verse, it was like hopping all over the place.
Right.
I think there's a lot of musical, like intentional surprises and stuff. So.
Damn, got to keep our eye on this producer.
Both. Both
Yeah.
producer and composer, because they're
Yeah, the vocal part beautifully painted out. What
so
happens.
many little details. Yeah, and then sometimes I would hear da 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 da.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of call and answer in the vocal part.
And there was one point where there was like the modal mixture, just to what we used to call Picardy third, but it's like the parallel major.
Yeah.
I like how the first guy, the first member who sang it, I think it's the pre-chorus, really leaned on that note. And the second member who sang it in the second verse just kind of brushed through it. It was really nice that there was that difference.
And then 114, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, weird section. Oh, whoa, they're in the parallel major.
That's Gaehyun.
Okay, no, it wasn't there. We had to
later?
go to the pre-chorus
3,
again.
2. Oh, there's a pre-chorus again.
Yes.
With the sa sa da 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 is a bit of a throwback.
Okay, here.
Older K-pop
Yeah,
vibe.
so this guy. See,
I think it's still Kangmin.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be
I'm
even
pretty
more
sure
amazing.
That's still the same
if
vocalist.
he did just two different styles. You hear how it just lifts up, right? Yeah, he just lifts up there.
So it might have been the vocal director who was like, okay, let's make sure to emphasize this first one and the second one.
Maybe. There was also something very digital about the first time they did it. So it felt like there was sort of an auto-tune, a very flat sort of auto-tune pressed in it. And I like it there because it's done to good effect.
Second time around, Red. Min-chan. No way. It is a different vocalist.
It has to be a different vocalist.
Wait.
Their approach was just completely different.
But,
oh yeah.
Okay, so Min-chan's speaking voice is very dark and warm. So the fact that he was able to match that very light, beautiful, floaty.
I would say I would say the second time was darker than the first member. Oh,
okay, my ears are broken, everyone. My ears are broken.
He's leaning a little flat, and I like that they kept it in there. Yeah, it's a little bit, there's darker shade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't want to move on. I just want to re-listen to Underdog over and over and over and over. But we will move on to Prom now. Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. It's Prom. Ooh, that piano is way too exposed for me. They crank that stuff.
This is electronic.
Ooh, okay, these are the vibes I like. Feels like a Doja Cat. I think they listen to Doja Cat.
No, such thing as too much cowbell!
I mean, Doja Cat didn't create this sound, so maybe not.
With each member, they introduce a new instrument. It's really cute.
I also like the pentatonic. It's like a new, sort of a new sound.
Ooh, some beautiful background harmonies.
Ooh, a nice cadence. It's great. Jukuju, jukuju.
Where is my shining star?
I like the funk guitar. It gives the song a bit more dimension.
I love this little fast swing.
Whoa!
Beautiful.
What are those weird synth blasts?
I love that they use the strings to transition into the group singing section. What the hell? Pitch down, pitch down,
Very
pitch
strange.
down.
That was when you get disappointed in the prom. I don't know.
That was cool. Oh,
Strange.
I love spoken sections where someone's at a higher pitch and someone's at a lower pitch
Oh, yeah.
because it's like spoken harmony.
I like there's that tiny little filter during that acapella section. Tiny little filter. So classy.
The brass bass is kind of happening on the later half of the beat. It's like,
Oh, nice. They cut it short. They go in straight into the bridge. I think that was a wise move. Of course. Okay, I kind of saw that coming. Whoa. Were those wind trill, like piccolos and flutes?
yeah, it sounded like piccolo. Why were you like this?
I don't know.
I'm loving this. Okay, this last chorus is
Yeah, we go back into here.
the fact that they're singing and there's also yelling, go, da 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 da, say it!
I like those little high notes at the end because it reminded me of that one part where there was like the weird little decay.
Oh, like the doo 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 doo.
Yeah. And that it sort of the same texture showed up at the end.
That was adorable. Wait, with some really nice moments as well. Oh my god, the freaking jazz. 241, 3, 2, 1.
Like a double time swing. Yeah, there was a little bit of double time swing. Yeah. Very cool.
Not everything is in yet.
That was a weird little lean.
Yeah, and it goes like do 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 hit 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 hit. Everyone sing. Yeah, that was very satisfying. Every single time I say very, I just want to facepalm myself because I'm hyper aware of every single time I say very because their name is very very.
I wonder if you
Take a
kept
shot
that.
every single time I say very.
Did you keep that pun I made during the...
We did,
Okay,
but they
good.
did not get it.
Yeah, they were like, I think one member got it like 4.5 seconds later, but that ship has already sailed.
If you guys haven't seen it already, or if the video isn't out yet, yeah, Kevin cracked a very, very pun during our interview, and the members were just like, cricket sounds.
There were a few of those moments, but I tried.
Yeah. I think it's just because your audio was turned down so low, they might have not heard you. Maybe they just heard like, very, very, and they're like, ha, ha.
It's us.
Like, yeah?
Yeah. So, I actually don't think this track is as strong as the previous two.
Oh, I agree, but,
Yeah,
but I
and-
like it how it is as it is.
I have a few criticisms, I guess. I think that the melody in the chorus and I guess the post-chorus, which appears in the first and last time, are a little are not as catchy as actually the verse. The verse, you know, like I might not remember it as much as go da da da, but I paid attention more to the verse and the ways things kind of moved. And then once the chorus hit, I kind of relaxed a little too much.
I think the whole point of this song is to make you feel relaxed,
but like
bro.
they're singing about like going to the prom, and I think they're trying to make it sort of hype within this mid-tempo, slightly disco-esque sort of feeling, and
For me, it's the exact opposite because I remember what the melody is once the chorus hits, and then I completely forgotten what the verses sound
catchy wouldn't be the right word. I guess it would just be melodically interesting.
like. Okay.
And
So what caught your ear, perhaps.
Yes, what caught my ear. And you know, there are times where the easy melody is the stuff that I latch onto. But in this case, for some reason, I was a little let down when the chorus came. And that could also be because I think the mixing here is a bit too compressed. I feel like the only thing that gave the song a bit more dimension was the funk guitar, which was very nicely packed in the back. But like when the piano came, it was this big, bright, and like in-your-face sort of thing. And most of the time, all of the instrumentals were kind of fighting for the top spot. And I did compare the song to, I guess, both the most recent Doja Cat hits, which is Say So and Kiss Me More. I don't want to say the wrong name, but I think it's Kiss Me More, which I love. I don't know why I don't remember it, but I love that song. And when I listen to those, which is in the same tempo, same style, and basically the same instrumentation, there is a lot of dimension, and it creates a musical space. This one feels like you know when you're at a live venue, you hear the speakers cranking a certain song up.
Yeah.
And you deep down, you know that song it's not what it originally sounds like, but you know, they turn off the subwoofers and stuff to make it more party-esque. This feels like I'm already live listening to that party-esque feel. And I feel like for a studio recorded track, it could be a bit more finessed, a bit more of the Doja Cat, the details. And yeah.
I understand your critiques, but I think as we've discussed before in videos, I love the wall of sound. I love having all the instrumental really close together so that it feels like a wall of sound is coming at me. Yeah, for me, the reason why I enjoy the other two songs is just because they're genres that I tend to enjoy more, and I tend to enjoy not being able to recognize the sounds played. So like string, funk guitar, copy and paste loops and percussion rhythms. That isn't always my favorite immediately, but I enjoyed the song as a whole. It made me relax. It made me picture listening to this while in the nighttime on my way to prom, driving in the car with friends, maybe like what is it called, a virgin martini or something, you know. I'm feeling fancy, and I think it set out to do what it wanted to do, even if it isn't my personal cup.
That is very interesting, because for me, I'm more careful and more hesitant to express just outward praise for styles that are similar to the first two songs. And this is my comfort zone.
Wow.
So when it started, I'm like, oh, there's the potential for like a really strong B-side that I would love. And then, yeah, that's why when a lot of the mixing and melodic choices hit, I was like, oh, slightly let down. While the other two were just such excellent examples of excellent and different examples. I actually thought the first two tracks were such a nice 1-2 punch with similarities and differences. Because the first song felt like a very, what is it? Congruent and
congruent.
Not congruent. What is the word? Wow, words are, you know, first session back. Just a very flowing, connective experience. While the second one was like, where are we now? Where are we now? Where are we now?
And this is also flowing again.
This is more flowing, but I think the first two tracks served as such a great contrast of like both excellent songs that had these more subtle differences. But now you move on to Heart Attack.
Also written by the dude who wrote Numbness in the Getaway EP. So I'm excited.
Move that back just in
Move
case.
that back, move that back, move that back, move that back, move it, back it up, back it up.
Back it
Whoa,
up.
whoa, 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 whoa. Let's pump it up.
You wanting my heart.
No. Oh, yeah. No, I was like, you gotta make the true reference. You gotta make the true reference. But you did it anyways. Okay, sorry.
You wanting my heart. Wait, why was there ticking at the beginning? We're already so far away from it, and it's only been like 5 seconds.
Are we in a video game right now?
Right?
Mario Kart?
This reminds me of like the Boys Giddy Up, but cranked up to 12. Yeah. Woo! Those fourths. Good stuff. See, this is also in your face. But I really like it. Because there's space. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Transitions are so smooth.
Ooh. Nice. I've heard a similar type of drop like this, but I don't even mind. It's so well done here. Okay. That's so boy band. The one da 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 da. That's cool.
I'm struggling to keep up with the song right now. My ears are.
I like this chant section too. Oh, nice. It makes us crave this return to form. Galaxy is a good word to describe this. Oh! Did they just speed up a bit?
It feels like that.
Or are they just in front of the beat?
I don't think the tempo changed, but
Oh, it's so good. I don't even care if they're just singing down the minor scales. It's so great.
da 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 da.
The percussion in this, it's not new, but it's perfectly chosen. Oh! Ooh, that enunciation. It's not as overwhelming as I thought, this drop, but it's nice. It's compact.
Both the vocals and instrumentals be going off.
She was singing in that crack, the quarter tone. It was like he pushed it up as it happened. Or maybe my ear was just adjusting to it.
They're hitting some really high notes.
It's a nice.
Now it's
clean
over, right?
end.
Okay.
It's a nice clean end.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Woo!
Every time, there were a few moments where this song was like almost leaning towards just sort of put it like I almost got put on autopilot, like sort of the ends of choruses and different sections.
Yeah.
But then they always do something weird.
Yeah. So
It's like they're well timed and intentional.
There's Charlie Puth started this trend where like you have, or the main song, the K-pop song that I can compare this to is VAV's Runway, where it's just like the 4 on the floor bass drum, and you feel like you're strutting, and then the second half of the chorus is you bring in some like sort of reverby 2 and 4 beat snare or cymbal, and then you continue that motif. And so this kind of chorus we are very familiar with in the pop world, but then they just keep throwing in some I don't even know, in which it feels like the song is like going 100 miles per hour, and in an unexpected, fun to listen to things that my brain and my ears are like, wait, I'm trying to catch. Like I can't keep up with it. So they chose to have the kind of chorus that would ground you, because you're like, I'm familiar with this, while just wildness blows up around it. Jesus Christ.
I agree. Okay, so the key change at the end was obviously insane. But there was one other big moment where I thought, what was going on? And I can't remember. There was like the part where the acapella sounded like it was rushing.
Okay, yeah, the verse.
Yeah.
I mean, just the second time around or the first time around too?
Just the second time.
Okay.
It was like a very clean removal of all the instruments. And then we just get.
Okay, I'm gonna let's listen to the first time versus the second time. 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, he's just pushing forward.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, it happens both times.
It happens both times.
Huh. That's so cool.
I think it's because they're coming off of a section in which the synths have so much subdivision activity that perhaps the vocalist or the vocal director was like, okay, we need to keep that energy in the vocal line and push it forward while the instrumental goes to this halftime, more sparse section. The vocalist needs to continue that energy, and then the vocal speed will match later, a little bit later.
I have a pretty morbid
Oh no.
analogy.
Oh, bring it on.
This song feels like a heart attack.
Okay.
Cause like every, you know,
The
way it-
KJ!
yeah, it lulls me into a comfort zone sometimes. Like the end of the bridge, you know, it feels like it was fizzling out. Like I could feel it fizzling out. And then that key change just like killed us. I mean, no, I can't. No, I need to choose my words better. It's all in good humor.
I mean, I did fall on the floor, so a pretty accurate analogy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, this was fantastic, and I really, really, really love a lot of details about this EP. And I cannot wait to hear more from Strong Dragon, because I'm looking at his Instagram, and what he's done with Very Very seems like maybe his first works, which is pretty insane. This and Trigger. And then there's one more song that is album only that he did with Alon, actually.
Ooh, nice.
So looking forward to hearing more from Strong Dragon. Looking forward to re-listening to these songs.
For sure.
Looking forward to everyone watching our interview with Very Very, because this is the type of video that we did with Very Very. We hope to repeat again with many other artists, because we think we found something that is like unique to our brand and ReacttotheK and classical music, and combining it with K-pop and some really fun and interesting questions and games. So,
woo! Hope this album fills the hole in your heart and oh no, makes the underdog rise, pulls the trigger, and takes you to prom again. Or if you're young enough, make you look forward to prom. Bye.